What is going on, Multiversers? Welcome back to the channel. So today we got ourselves a nice little topic to discuss, and that topic is third-party characters. Now, I'm not going to talk about any third-party characters in general. I'm just going to be talking about them, well, just third parties in general, no specific characters. And where I'm going with this is, does Multiversus really need third-party characters? Now, sure, third-party characters are absolutely fun for these party brawler mascot mashups, these platform fighters. They add so much of a fun twist of, unexpected surprises. And those are fantastic. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying this game should not have third parties. I'm just saying, does it need third-party characters? And I mean, think about it this way for a second, right? This is the first iteration of Multiversus, the game, right? This is not like the 8th installment in the franchise. This is the very first one that they're doing. And this is Warner Brothers properties. Sure, it is called Multiverses, but aren't they bringing in multiverses within their own universe? Is that kind of the core that we're starting with? So, as an example, if you wanted to start with the base roster, which we already have a few characters revealed, but for example, you can start with DC Comics and take a character from that, like say the Flash, for example. There you go, DC. That's a IP that Warner Brothers owns. Speaking of Warner Brothers, what about Warner Brothers Pictures? You could choose anything that they own from that. Maybe like King Kong, for example. That's an idea. Then you could move over to Adult Swim and you could pull out a character like Samurai Jack, for example. That's already 3 major properties under Warner Brothers that they own, and we can continue double, triple, quadruple dipping into those franchises. But continuing on a little bit more here, got NetherRealm Studios, which is a gaming studio. They make Mortal Kombat and Injustice, so maybe a character like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat they could pull from. Then you get into Cartoon Network, and there's plenty to choose from. So, example, you could choose Powerpuff Girls. Moving over, you could go to Hanna-Barbera with Fred Flintstone if you really wanted to. Then, of course, Looney Tunes. You can't forget about them, so go with Looney Tunes and choose Tasmanian Devil, for example. What I'm getting at is they have so much to play with. It's kind of like play with your own toys, right? You have them, so make use of them. You don't need to go play with the other kids' toys until you've played with yours. Does that make sense, right? Again, starting off, you don't automatically go start borrowing from everybody else in the corners of the internet. Well, or should you? I mean, no, not necessarily, because again, going back to that point, you could go back to DC Comics, you can go back to Adult Swim, you could go for random other strange characters, I believe Warner Brothers still owns the picture rights to The Wizard of Oz, so go with the Wicked Witch or something like that if you really wanted to go with surprise characters. The point is, there's so much that they can pull from for their own stuff that honestly, no, I don't believe they need third parties to really fill out the roster. And I don't think filling out the roster is really much of an issue. But when it does come to third parties, right? When it comes to third parties, Tony Wynn, the game director of Multiversus, he's actually been asked this question before, and he did give a short, brief answer. So somebody asked him on Twitter, what if they had to go through third-party characters, for Multiversus, which companies would they start with? And his reply is basically, we have some plans, but we'll see what happens. There's a lot of work that goes into something like this, so we're definitely not ready to reveal that yet. That's a very fair response. Negotiating with third parties can be a little tricky, that maybe the paperwork gets a little confusing and crazy with distribution rights, and there's so many things that even myself, that I don't know what goes on behind the scenes and how much work really does go into acquiring a third-party character for a game or a movie or a crossover or whatever it might be. There is a ton of work that goes into this. But if they did go third parties, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because like I said at the beginning, third-party characters really add that spice, they really add that extra ingredient that really make you think outside the box and go, all right, wait a minute, is anything possible? Well, that's kind of the theme that they've been telling us the whole time, right? Ever since the reveal trailer, Tony on many occasions on Twitter and Discord, they've told us several times that anyone and anything is possible. So the door is open for that possibility. The door is open. It's not like they're not gonna pursue it, but maybe they're not actively pursuing it, right? If the situation presents itself, they will most likely at least listen, right? If a company like Sega comes along, or a company like Disney, is Disney going to work with Warner Brothers? I don't know. But I'm saying if a company like Disney does come along and say, hey, wait a minute, we kind of want to be a part of this. Let's sit down and discuss terms here a little bit. Well, then, yeah, you're going to have to sit down and take that meeting and see where the conversation goes. So, yes, third parties, are they needed? No, I don't really think they are. They just are very special occasions, special guests, and filling out your own game. Again, it's Warner Brothers Multiverses, so you can make the argument that, yeah, third parties should be included in Multiverses, bringing different universes together. But at the same time, can you make the argument that Multiverses is just bringing all of Warner Brothers universes together for one ginormous, insanely weird crossover fighting game? Yeah, you can make a case that that's all that it is. But what if somebody does happen to get sucked through the wormhole, right, from another company, right? What if Sonic? We talked about him for the Yay or Nay series not too long ago. What if Sega or Paramount ended up coming through and saying, you know what, we'd be willing to listen to an offer to put Sonic in Multiverses. We'll see how that happens. So again, does the game need third parties? In my opinion, no, it really doesn't, because they have too many toys of their own that they can play with. Anybody that watched, I know, I feel bad for you, but if anybody watched Space Jam 2, what was that, the New Legacy or whatever the subtitle was, you will see how many cameos were made in that game and how many different characters and franchises and shows and movies and yada 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 that they can pull from to essentially be in the Multiversus game. All right, cool. You got a bunch of stuff going for you. Use that. But then again, if the opportunity's there, yeah, you kind of have to answer it. Got to see where it goes. But again, I want to bring you back to that tweet that Tony answered, right? That he says that they have plans, but we'll see what happens. That's essentially meaning, yeah, there could be plans for third parties, but we'll see what happens in terms of, well, things can easily fall apart or fall through, so no guarantees. There's a lot of work that goes into that, but he ends off by saying, so we're definitely not ready to reveal that yet. Is he not ready to reveal the plan that they have for third-party characters? Or is he not ready to reveal the third-party character or characters that they may have for the roster? So, I don't know. It's maybe a little bit of a head-scratcher. It makes you think a little bit, right? Okay, what does he really mean here? I do think that he's not ready to reveal the plans that they have for any possible or potential third parties, but it's still interesting nonetheless. But again, I guess I'll open it. I should always start the video with these questions because I don't know how many people actually watch this far to the end of the video. But anybody that does, answer me this. Does Multiverses, do they need third-party characters for their roster? I'm going to say no, they don't. They have so much that they can do on their own. Like I said, you can double dip, triple, quadruple dip into the same franchises, into the same subsidiaries, like an Adult Swim, like in a Cartoon Network, like DC Comics. There's so many things that you can reach for that will still be different than anything else that you pull out from that. So Batman is going to be completely different than The Flash. You got Samurai Jack for Adult Swim. Compare him to Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty if you want. The differences are so, obvious between the two characters that you can keep going back to the same properties without repeating and having characters overlap and not be unique anymore. So, that's the question. Does this game need third-party characters? Nah, I don't think it does. But it doesn't hurt the roster either. So, that's all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, what do you call this? A discussion video, I suppose? yeah, sure. I hope you guys enjoyed this little discussion video. Either way, that is it. And, well, I guess I'll see you. Oh, tomorrow we got another Yay or Nay episode. I have no idea who it is yet because I haven't made the video, but it'll be tomorrow. We'll see you then.